Yes, guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your boy, Jordan Antonio Brown, and I'm giving you another daily dose of a jab. So what we're going to speak about today, we're going to speak about Jim Ratcliffe. I'm not going to call this guy sir. I don't know who gave it to him. This guy is a clown, and I'm tired of just seeing this guy in the media, and I've seen him on overlaps, and I've seen him on interviews, and I've seen him on what's it, Sky. Like, this guy's a clown, man. This guy has no understanding of what it is to be a working class human being in this country. And he's just someone who's just egotistical and obnoxious. I do know a few millionaires, billionaires, check out the video that I made, but they're not like that. Obviously, they do have their views on the world and they do have their way of thinking, which is sometimes very different and a lot different to the average person and the majority of the population. But when it comes to things like this, he's a guy who he probably uses immigration to his favor. Many aspects, like this guy. So to go even against of what you're saying or what you're doing, sorry, it just doesn't make any sense at all. One of your players, for example, he went to Italy and he emigrated from, I think it was from Senegal, no, Ivory Coast, Amad Diallo, excuse me, where he's from. And he's had a mad story of how he's ended up over there and then he's ended up getting citizenship and then ended up, check it out, his story. And he wouldn't be playing for Man United if he never did that. Obviously, I'm not saying illegal immigration is the way forward, and I don't disagree with it and whatnot, but it gets overhyped when you're talking about a lot of numbers and cases, and it's not an issue that we should be talking about, I don't think, to be honest. It's bigger, it's blown out of proportion more than it should be. Basically what I'm trying to say. Most people who they come to this country via a plane, bro. Do you get what I'm trying to say? They're not on no boats, and do you get what I'm trying? People who go and live, let's say people who live by the coast or whatever, they're not seeing every day people come over on boats, and there's British Navy and there's people on shores that are watching people do this. It's very difficult to come over and not be seen and end up in the country. I think the best way, I'm not even advising this or anything, but the best way to end up in this country is to go through Europe on the back of a lorry, which I can't lie, it does happen. But that's not most of the people that end up in this country. And you have to look at the government's job doing that. You can't blame the people that are coming into the country. They don't know any better. But anyway, let's get off of that, man. This is a football channel, and we're speaking about what the comments he said in relates to football. Let's say it like this. Jim Ratcliffe is a clown. That guy, pharmaceuticals he's been involved in, and if you're in the pharmaceutical business, you just don't really have too many morals and too many principles. That you've obviously used humans and you've tested them and trials and things like that on, you have to use it on humans. If we know if it's gonna work, you're gonna have to once test it on a human. And he's just a clown, to be honest. He's just someone that always coming out in overlaps and interviews and Sky News and this and that. Bruv, just give it a rest, man. That you're someone where you're living in Monaco, and nothing against that. You do what you have to do. But what say do you have when it comes to these matters? That you're someone that you don't even know what it looks like in working class Manchester. You've probably never even been there, bro. That he's probably never even been there. When he comes off the airplane and his private airport and a private jet, do you think he's coming through the middle of Manchester? You know what I mean? You think he's going through the Deansgate and these places there? No. This guy is going on the motorway, round back roads and whatever to get to any house or anywhere he's staying in. This guy is not someone that he's been through impoverished areas where immigration is happening or migration is happening. This guy don't have a clue. So he's one of them guys. He's seen it on Twitter. He's seen a few people saying it, and he's pandering to that audience. And it's a risky road to do, because most people who support your team are people of foreign nationality, foreign descent, people who don't look like you and obviously don't think like you. So you're basically putting your company now in distribution because of your own selfish thoughts. So you're not thinking about Man United as a whole, because Man United as a whole, everyone knows this, one of the biggest clubs in the world. you don't really need to do much to sell it. I'm talking about sell the product on the shelf, whether it be a football shirt, whether it be a coffee cup, whether it be a Man United football or whatever it may be. You don't need to do much to sell it. But what you're doing and what you're saying, you're doing a lot to hurt it. And that is probably putting Man United in more trouble than it's worth, to be honest. So this guy, he ain't even got that much share in the club. The guy's got 25%, or someone get up the stats of how much this guy's got in stake of Man United. It's not even that much. And he's got a say. I know no one wanted the Glazers to have a say or whatever, but at the end of the day, the Glazers, although that they've taken money out of the club and whatnot, they've dug themselves a hole and they can't get out of. But there's someone where they've put the money up and they've spent the money on players and whatever. They do want Man United to do well. And obviously, Jim Ratcliffe, the same way, he wants Man United to do well. But the Glazers, they obviously, everyone can talk about the Glazers and whatnot, but they kept to themselves. They didn't come out. I don't know which one I prefer, to be honest, as a Man United fan. People taking money out of the club, people obviously putting the club in debt and whatever. I don't know which one I would prefer. Obviously, Glazers, they did mess up the club a lot. And Jim Ratcliffe, shout at him for this, at least. He's repairing Man United in the best way possible. And obviously, you got new training ground coming, new stadium coming and whatnot. So and the managers as well that he's employing, that seems to be in a better direction than it was before. However, internally, what this guy was doing in the club, sacking dinner ladies and not giving lunches and stuff like that. This guy is just someone where he's just an idiot, man. I'm not gonna lie, he's an idiot, man. He's someone that do what you're doing behind the scenes. We don't really want to hear too much of what you got to say. I can't lie. You're not someone that your voice is needed in that way. You think you're more important than you actually are. You're not that important. I think, shall I tell you what it is with him? He's trying to make a name for himself in some type of political way, or he's trying to get on side in some type of political way. And he's not someone where I am very fond of. He's a clown, man. I can't lie, he's a clown. But no real supporter is waking up thinking, let me hear about this guy's thoughts on immigration policies. No one's really waking up thinking we need to hear from Jim Ratcliffe on that. He just come out and just did that for no reason. And obviously he's in Monaco. I don't really have anything to say about if you want to take your money out of the country in that respect. But if you're doing that, you don't really have a say when it comes to how the country is run. It's almost like someone asked him, why don't you bring your money back to England? And he came with the answer, fair enough. But the answer wasn't from that question. It was not. So he's just literally giving his 2 pence for no reason. And you're someone where you're just someone that takes, you're not someone that gives. So why are you even giving your 2 pence on these matters and these situations that you don't relate to anyone that you're talking about? You don't understand anyone you're talking about. So just give it a rest, man. But anyway, what do you guys think of this matter? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.